What do you think of the fear state that's been created at the moment over the COVID-19 pandemic? Obviously, this is something that has put a lot of anxiety into people. How how will we best cope with that?
Okay, caveat, attention to the world. What I'm saying is my personal belief about this as a research scientist. Okay,
Yeah.
because I see something that's not really good going on. I see a world in total chaos, which is actually good, which is hard. What do you mean? How can it be good? It's in chaos. So the first understanding is simply this. Human civilization has precipitated what is called the sixth mass extinction of life on this planet. Five times in the history of planet life was thriving, and some event, a cataclysmic event, wiped it out and started over again. 66 million years ago, the fifth one was when dinosaurs were here, and a comet hit the planet that was big, upended the environment, wiped out all the dinosaurs and up to 90% of life, and it started all over again. Today, scientists recognize we're losing species of organisms on this planet faster than in previous five mass extinctions. Unfortunately, the problem that they all come with is that human civilization is undermining the web of life, the way we're living on this planet. And it says you can't keep doing this anymore. And it's like extinction. You go, well, was that a million years from now? 1,000? 100? No, within 100. Human civilization is facing extinction. We're polluting the air, the water, everything around us. We're despoiling nature, trying to tell nature what we want instead of understanding nature is what it is. We dominate nature. It's like, no, you don't. Your domination experiment has caused a six mass extinction that we're in right now, and human civilization is facing its own end because when the environment goes, humans can't be here either. And it's disappearing very quickly. So what's the point? It says, well, if you want to survive, you cannot continue what you're doing.
Mm.
What we're doing as a civilization, a culture, a planet, using up the resources and polluting everything and doing all that because we feel we can do that has caused this problem. So I said, well, what's the answer? The answer is you have to change the whole way we live on this planet. We have to learn how to live in harmony, not just with each other would be a good start. With nature is necessary. And I go, so why is this wrong? I say, the culture that we have been living with is causing the problem.
Mm.
To change the world, you have to change the culture. And the chaos prevalent, including COVID and climate change and all that, is saying you either learn to change right now while you're facing this, or that extinction is before the end of the century. In fact, 20, 30 years, humans are going to have a real tough time on this planet. And so you can look at the world in one of two ways. You can look at it in the structure that's coming down, going, oh my God, the thing's falling apart. Or you can look at it in a way that is much more helpful and say, there's a new world we're building. And Sarah, your show is contributing to what? New world we're
Mm.
building by saying you gotta change the way you're living. Who are you? What you've been victimized, you've been programmed. You know, the idea that we've been programmed, that's not new. The Jesuits, the Catholic organization, for 400 years have told their followers this: give me a child until it is 7 and I will show you the man. You go, so what the hell is that? And I go, exactly what we just talked about. You're programmed through age 7, and 95% of your life is going to come from that program. So whatever program you get is an expression of the rest of your life. They've been telling people this.
Yes.
Nobody paid attention. They had no idea. But now, look, this is a scientific reality. And the point is, we have to change the programming. We have to learn to live in nature as a harmonious element rather than we are dominating it. And that's the wake up call that we're facing right now. So I say, so why is it relevant? I say, well, the chaos you see, we will not survive if this civilization doesn't have this.
Yeah.
If this civilization stays the way it is, we're talking a few decades and it's done. Okay. And I say, well, you want to build a new civilization? You can't build it on the foundation of this one, because this is the one that is causing the extinction. So it says You want to thrive? The thing has to come down. And therefore, you have two choices. One of them will take away your health in an instant, and that is holding on to the one that's coming down. It's falling apart. I go, don't hold on and let go, because that's the one that's destructive, and it'll take you down with it.
Yeah.
Time to refocus our energy and say, what is new that we're building? Where are we going? How can I participate in creating a different version of this reality? Because this version is self-destructive. So the chaos that we see, and it includes that's the thing, it's like the perfect storm. Everywhere in the world, some chaos is manifesting,
Yes.
racial, religious,
Yeah.
political, economic. And I go, yeah, that's what? The opportunity to break it so that the next version will be built on a better foundation.
Do you think the COVID vaccine is a cure to all this?
I don't know where it came from. I have speculation, but there's no reason to offer speculation with no foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will recognize a very simple fact: confusing the virus's virulence with the weakness of the patient.
Mm.
We keep blaming the virus as the biggest problem. I go, look, 80 to 90% of infected people never had symptoms bad enough to see a doctor or go to a hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. They lived with it. It was an extended flu. But then there's this big portion of the population that is having serious consequences. It's not a big portion of the population, it's small, relatively. 80 to 90% of the people didn't have
Yeah.
anything they're going to die from. But this other part does. And I say, well, what about this part? I say, you can't ignore that. You can't just say write it off, but you can say, well, what is contributing to it?
Yes.
And the answer is what is called comorbidity,
Mm.
meaning you're not healthy to begin with, and then being challenged by this virus in your weakened state didn't give you any strength. In fact, you have less strength to
Yeah.
deal with this. Americans, I used to say, and I'm proud of it, well, Americans, at
You're
this
a New
point,
Zealander now, Bruce.
New Zealand, my home, but America is where I live, and 40% of Americans have, and the number is 2.7 comorbidities.
Jeez.
Translated, that means 40% of Americans, and most of them have 3 comorbidities: overweight, diabetes, cardiovascular issues, whatever. I go, what's relevant? They are already weakened their system, that they cannot respond well to this virus. Everyone's going to get the virus. Why? It's a new strain that hasn't been experienced. But once you experience it, you make an immune response. I go, well, 80 to 90% of the people have experienced have a much better vaccine than any science vaccine they can give you. They created their own.
Yes.
But then the people that have this problem, they're the ones that, the focus should be on them, as taking care of them, putting them in a safety zone, making sure every safety thing for them is in front of them. But 80% or more of the people, like here in New Zealand, this is not a problem, okay? But in the media, the fear is the problem.
Yeah.
And I go, why is that a problem? The answer is very simple. Fear shuts off the immune system. The chemistry of fear, corticosteroids, adrenal secretions, shut down the immune system as a natural function, because fear is to mobilize your energy to run away from a tiger, okay? And the immune system is to protect you from an internal threat. But if the tiger's coming, there's no internal threat that's more important than get away from that tiger. So stress hormones, by their function, shut down the immune system. So when you watch the news, and it's not the flu every year, they always had every year, the flu season's coming, time to get your flu shot. And some people go, yeah. Some people get it and blah, blah. This time it comes around, the flu season's here and you're going to die. It's like, got my attention now. And that's what they're holding that attention on. You're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. And go, hey, 80, 90% didn't die, and they managed to make a better vaccine than the science version of it.
Yes.
And I go, it's really necessary to focus your attention on the weak ones. And then I go, well, how do you focus on it? And I go, completely wrong the way they're doing it. Because they're going to say, oh, first you need drugs, then you need this and this and this. And at the very end, I say, and you should be healthy. I go, no, no, take the one at the very end, move it all the way to the front line
Yes.
to take care of yourself. Enhances the immune system, which for hundreds of thousands of years protected us before medicine was here. And we're still here no matter how many viruses and things came through. I say, what's the status? And it's interesting because a lot of people are familiar with the Black Death that went through Europe and wiped out millions of people. And it's like, ooh, the evil Black Death. And then they started to look at the chemistry of the skeletons of the people that died. And every study revealed that those people affected by a Black Death were completely unhealthy.
Really?
At a time when health was a hard issue, even getting food was a hard issue.
Yes.
And so, why did so many people die? And the answer was they were not healthy. And I go, and what about today? And I go, again, the people that are having the most problem are the ones that are not healthy. And then rather than saying, let's focus on making them healthy, their answer is, let's get some vaccine. I go, God, what about the people? Oh, just give them the vaccine. I go, boy, you're really, you're experimenting on a human population with stuff that's never been done, even on an animal population. And so it's a very interesting situation. And my best conclusion is very simple. Number one, make sure you eat really natural organic food.
Yes.
Because industrial food is processed and chemicalized to a degree that you don't want that chemical in your body. Number two, take supplements, including especially vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. These are critical, and especially vitamin C at large doses, not the trivial BS belief system of a low dose. Take serious vitamin C. Number three, exercise. You have to move the circulatory system and let it work around and clean and take care of the body. Sedentary, less action, circulatory system is not filtering and cleaning the body very much. Its function is to do that, but it's based on using it. Okay. And number four, get out of the negative belief zone that disempowers you because you've been programmed to say, oh, I got to hide in my house.
Yes.
That's a problem because evolution is a complete opposite. It's not the separation of people. Evolution is the conjoining, the coming together of people to create a multicellular thing called humanity, where we are cells in the same body. I don't care where you are on the planet. And once we recognize that, then all of a sudden the idea of violence against another person is like autoimmune disease. That's called self-destruction.
Yeah.
This is not relevant. This is not right. We are all cells in the same body. When the cells are in harmony, harmony is health. Disharmony is disease. The planet has experienced disease at the level of individuals, which is higher and higher and higher, no matter how much money you put in medicine. And culture is experiencing a great disease as well. It's all falling apart as well because of lack of harmony. And the COVID story is anti-evolution because it says keep away from each other, don't communicate with each other. And I say you have disempowered. Communication is the community, is the evolution. When you break up community, you're anti-evolution because the whole idea is learning how to come together and work in harmony with each other. And now we're frightened enough to be put away in our own little rooms. And I go, you're disconnected.
Yeah.
And I go, that's the opposite of our intention.